I'm trying to make a way, hit the bank so ends can meet. Feed my family, if you don't grind, you weak. That was me about a year ago, scared to be a weirdo.
Welcome back to Tokens Podcast, Season 2, Episode 5. We are here. I am your host, Hero.
Hey.
And as always, I'm here with Stevie G.
Stevie G, what up?
Today we're joined by a local artist from DMV. She is a DMV native. It's from the district, right? From DC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tanya Marie, everybody. Welcome.
Welcome to the show.
So Tanya's a co-parent, mother of one, collage artist, and a Golden Pineapple supporter, which is, of course, how we met. Tanya joins us today to talk about her life as an artist, benefits of using Golden Pineapple's herbal infusions in her daily life. So we're going to just jump right into it.
Yes.
Where did you start with art? Because I know I like to do pen and ink,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm sorry, pen and pencil. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done it in a while,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm a pretty decent at just drawing. I don't really have any other. Not good at like painting and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So where did you begin on that?
Oh my gosh, my whole family is artistic.
Okay.
Both my parents are amazing cooks,
Mm-hmm.
and then my brother does digital media, and he's also an illustrator. And I've been illustrating since, I don't even know, since I was born, basically.
Right.
I started out pen,
Yeah,
ink
right.
and paper. When I was 4, I would mimic the comics out of the newspaper.
Right.
And just started going from there. And then I came across, as a teenager, collage work. And I mean, everybody knows collage.
Sure.
Like, you just cut out a bunch of shit. And
Right. Slap it all together.
slap it all
right?
together with some glue, and yeah. And, you know, I slowly started coming across other collage artists
Mhm.
that would experiment with, and it's all 2D, so would experiment with like
Okay.
things like you can cut out a face out of a someone's face doesn't have to be there, and it can be something else, and you can manipulate it.
So like seeing a picture within the picture.
Yeah, and just
okay.
kind of manipulating everything. And that's my favorite part, is just like cutting heads off of certain like, and then put it like and replacing it with like a flower or
Right.
something like that. Yeah. So it's a little weird in my studio because
Right.
then I have a lot of like headless cutouts, and
Right.
so like yes. So I'm sure people I date are probably like, huh, I better call this one back.
Right.
They do a
'Cause
slight
this is
double
how
take
it's
on
gonna
it.
end up.
That actually leads right into my next question, it was to tell us a little bit about your artwork to our viewers.
Mhm.
But so you started out with like the actual like illustration as far as like using the pen and ink and all that, but like collage work is your love. Like
I love
that's
it.
your like okay.
I love it. I love that, like, it's just my tiny little 2D world, and I can make it as jolly and as fucked up as I want to.
Right.
And,
Nice.
and you get to see it.
Yeah.
Or not see it.
I noticed you say 2D, and you're being very specific about that. Have you ever seen any 3D collage work?
Oh yeah. Like
Yeah.
there's like textural collages.
There's textural,
yeah.
or there's like textural. I don't paint with resin, but a lot of people are starting to do resin. Where, yeah, have you seen that?
No,
It's
I
so
haven't.
cool. So like, it's like acrylic paint,
Okay.
and then a layer of resin,
Uh huh.
and then it's like another acrylic paint with another layer of resin. So it starts to become like
Depth.
yeah,
Yeah. That's weird.
yeah,
I haven't seen that.
yeah.
It's very interesting though.
Or a lot of people are doing like it's called a dirty pour.
Uh-huh.
So like it's like the cup, and then you pour in all these different paints,
Uh-huh.
and then when you lift up the cup, because the cup has a hole at the bottom.
Oh yeah, I've
You've
seen
probably
that.
seen
Yeah,
that.
I have seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So a lot of people are starting to do that and then incorporate resin with it. Now with my stuff, it's all like cutouts.
Right.
It's all, that's all it is cutouts.
Cut, glue,
Cut
done.
and glue. And
Right.
That's it. Maybe a
But
little
also
bit,
the artistic eye to see that picture.
Right.
Yeah.
But everything cut by hand, and
Mhm.
everything is I paint.
Right.
But my painting is very minimal. It's just like the background, and
Mhm.
all my stuff is like, I don't know. It's just shit I think is funny.
So do you mainly play on just the humor aspect, or are there other emotions involved as well?
It's more. not my emotions. It's more
Mhm.
like how I can affect people on this mass level.
Mm.
So
You're looking for the reaction.
I'm looking for the reaction, and
Okay.
also I just think it's funny.
The reaction is funny.
Yeah, the
I like
reaction.
that. I like that.
Well, the reaction.
It's like the things you would do to get a laugh.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
it's also like, I mean, I know art is definitely like a way of expressing yourself, and there's a lot of emotion in it, and blah blah blah.
Mhm.
But I feel like, fuck it, like why can't it just be so simple and funny?
Mhm.
Like this is just funny. Like for
Is it-
instance,
Oh yeah. I was.
I like
I
that.
needed like an example.
I over not a year, but it's probably like 10.5 months. I collected every single dick pic that I received.
You know what's funny?
You received a lot of them.
Unsolicited.
Okay, fair enough.
A scene from
I
Horrible
didn't
Bosses
know
just
I
ran through my head when she was like, "I collect cocks," and I was like, "Did she say cocks?" Wow. Okay, that's interesting.
In a matter of
So you
10 and a
received a
half-
lot of unsolicited dick pics. Wow.
In a span of 10 and
Did
a
you
half
categorize them?
I did not categorize them, but I
This
did.
is so
It was
interesting.
like sad,
But I did
impressive.
I did go to Costco and I got them printed on these stretch canvas, these 8x10.
How did Costco people feel about that?
I had to go to different Costco's.
I'm sure.
Ah.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
That's
Because
hilarious.
sometimes some people were like,
Mhm.
I think I need to talk to my manager. And I was like, that's completely fine. I know this is so weird. Like,
Right. You probably would have gotten. Is it weird that Kinko's might have been better?
They probably
Just
would've-
because of the
they
name.
would have had the best service.
I mean, maybe they would have been more.
This is what we were
open.
built for.
This is how we started.
That's crazy. So, like, what did it become?
It ended up like I just took each frame and like kind of put them side by side in my studio, and I like stepped back and I was like, "That's a lot of fucking ticks."
Now,
Did
was
you
it
like
the
send them to the? Did you like send the collage to like the guys that sent it to you?
No,
You should.
I should have.
You're like, hey, I've got your dick on my
That's
wall
hilarious.
forever.
But it's also my way of like, I don't know. So I'll go back in a little bit and
Right.
say like, or tell you about. So I would have this conversation with
Mhm.
other women, you know, just like, hey guys, look what I'm doing.
Right.
But I had noticed that a lot of non-Asian women
Mhm.
would consistently say, "That's so amazing. I don't get that many dick pics." And I'm like, "Really? That's really weird." Because I kind of felt like I was like, "Whoa, there's like kind of like there's no like funny connection there." So I was like,
Right,
"Okay,
right.
now I'm just like that crazy woman that has like a bunch of dick pics on her phone." But then I started to talk to some of my Asian girlfriends,
And they get a lot of dick pics.
and they get a lot. No, I mean, I also
That's
didn't.
so weird.
To be fair, I didn't ask like
Are they from non-Asian men?
most
The
of them
majority
are.
of them.
It's a good question.
Because
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it's because you're Asian.
That's my
The
whole
assumption
point.
is
Yeah,
you
I
haven't
think
had.
that's what she's. Yeah.
That's my whole point.
Right.
It's like,
Wow,
like,
that is
isn't that weird?
that's crazy though. I
It's
mean,
weird.
the fact that you're actually saying, I've never thought about it. You know what I
Of course
mean?
you
But
haven't.
now that you're saying
never
it,
thought
it's
about
like,
it.
wow, guys probably do send a lot of dick pics to Asian women.
Well,
They do.
a lot of
Like-
Western culture has been like
Well, it's the
it's like the
typical-
West East thing, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like every time you see like a movie where there's like an Asian like
massage
heroine,
therapist, or
or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like she's a massage therapist. Oh, he's like asking for a happy ending.
Yeah.
Like if she's like the heroine in the story, like she falls in love with the
Yeah.
white guy. You know what I mean? Like she
Yeah.
doesn't fall in love with the Asian dude. Like it's the white guy that
Yeah.
she like falls
Mhm.
for. And there's always been this like stigma that sexualized Asian women
Of course.
to Western culture.
Of course.
It's pretty fucked up. It is very
I mean,
fucked
we're
up.
super
Yeah.
sexualized as it is.
It's fucked
The
up.
Yeah, I
Western
mean,
community
and so
in
like
general,
I feel
yeah,
like
totally.
anyone, I don't know, it's just everyone else outside. I mean, you could look at any other culture here, and for us, we're like they're super sexual. You
Right.
think of Russian women, you think of Asian women, you think of
And some
You know
of
what
it,
I mean?
but
Like-
some of it, you know, it's like the Latin housekeeper. You
Or
know
that.
what I mean? Like
Or that.
it's like the sexy Latin
Mm-hmm.
housekeeper, like and exactly like the sexy Asian masseuse,
Yep.
like. And it's I don't know. So I
There's a
I
bunch
can
of
see
personas.
where that would lead into that. and we're guys that are not Asian that like, oh, I met this Asian girl. Like, I'm first up, like, I just don't ever like I met this girl, I'm gonna send her a dick pic. Like, who the fuck does that?
The guys that sent me those.
That's so weird. Like, guys, you guys gotta stop. Like, you're giving us a bad name.
I never had the need to want to send a dick pic to anybody.
I've never wanted to take a picture of my dick.
No, I've definitely.
Are you
taken a picture of my
serious?
dick.
Like,
I'm
you
not gonna
don't
do
just
it.
like
I've definitely
take a
taken a picture of
and
my
like
dick.
send it to.
I mean,
I had a
send
girl
it
that actually like was like really wanted a dick pic one time, and I was avidly against it.
Were you?
Yeah, I was
So
like,
it's
no.
funny. I have this conversation with other guys that I tell them about this, like what I did, and it's the same. It's exactly what you guys are saying. It's like, I would never think. Who are these guys?
Right.
Who would ever think? Like
It's
all these
just
guys
like,
would
where
say
are you
that.
meeting these
You're
guys that
setting
you don't
you're
go there
setting
anymore.
yourself up for like disaster. Like that pic is now not just in that person's phone.
Right.
Like
No, it's on a
it's
stretch
on a
8.5
cloud.
by 10 canvas in my studio.
There you go.
that we're talking up right now.
There you go.
So
So-
joke's on you guys.
But basically, like, it really wasn't like a message to be like, not to generalize Asian women. It really was just because I thought it was all funny.
Right,
That is
right.
that is pretty.
But I
cool.
just
And
thought
it's
it was
cool to like
interesting.
kind of like make light of that situation. You know
I
what
thought
I
it
mean?
was
Because like a
just
lot of women could be
interesting.
like, I know a lot of women like that has happened to, and they just kind of feel like, especially if it happens like all the time. Like, I guess like eventually you feel like, is it like, why is this happening to me? Like, is this my fault? Am I like portraying it? So it's like, I like the other aspect of it where it's like, instead of like collapsing in on yourself, like it's like, like, this is hilarious, these guys are stupid, let me just like make
I
something
just
Turning
think
it
it's
into
funny.
art and comedy as opposed to making it a bad like feminism topic. Where it's just like guys
Right.
send pics to
And
girls.
like,
We don't like that.
I know.
We know that straight guys are stupid. So
I mean, yeah, we make dumb mistakes.
most of them. Yeah. I've done a couple myself.
With the exception of taking a dick.
Yeah, the mistakes, most definitely.
But yeah, it was just all just to be funny. But I just thought it was really interesting in conversations that like it was consistent amongst my non-Asian girlfriends.
Mhm.
And
That is, it's so
and
interesting.
consistent amongst my Asian girlfriends.
Right.
So I was like, am I like putting out some like weird like pheromones out there for
right.
like, but no, I really think that's what it is.
I think it's like the media and like how it's been portrayed in media for years and years and years, and so like guys just can't help but like hypersexualize like certain types of women. And
So
it's unfortunate. Like, guys should get over that. Like,
for me, I'm just like,
right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna make art out of your dick.
Yeah, I'm like, you're gonna send me pictures,
Right.
like,
Why not?
and
Thanks for the material.
I will say in a span of 10.5 months, I received 26 dick pics.
Jesus.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's like 3 dick pics a month.
Has there been any guys that have seen this artwork and then has sent you theirs?
No.
Hey,
It's like, huh.
that'd be great. They're like,
Will I
so
make
the
the
next
wall?"
time the next time you decide to for your consideration.
There are guys that I do tell this story to, and then that are like, well, if you want to take a picture, and I'm like,
of course.
You're like, no,
Nah.
I didn't take the picture.
yeah, I'm like, oh God, here we go.
Oh god, guys
Wow.
are such a piece of work, man.
So yes, that's my.
That's funny.
I know that like
That's funny.
my favorite medium, personally in art, is chalk pastels. I love it.
Oh, cool.
It's my favorite thing to do. It's what I'm the best at. I just love like, using my hands and like getting real like dirt into it. What brought you to? I think it was like I was in 6th grade, or no, I was in like 7th or 8th grade when I discovered. No, I was in 9th grade when I discovered chalk pastels, and I discovered that I was actually good at it. What made you like? What? How did you discover collages? And I know we know why it's your favorite, but I want to know like what was your first like experience with it? What was your first collage?
Ooh. I would probably say my very, very first one would probably be in 4th grade.
Ooh, you were early.
And I was stressing out because we were making like these like folders where we could put our like artwork in, like our little portfolios,
Right.
and everybody was decorating the front of theirs, and I'm just a lot slower in doing my artwork because I I don't know, I'm very particular and I
Right.
like certain color. You know, you just how artists are. We just like
Perfectionist
we like our
in your own
shit.
sense.
Right.
Yeah. And I was stressing out and I was like, no, I don't want to do it this way. And I realized that I can make flowers just by like tearing out like construction paper because that's all that they give you in
Right,
elementary
right,
school is
right.
construction paper. And I'm like, okay, I'll just do it this way. And it turned out to be really cool. And everything was torn, so nothing was like cut.
Right.
And it turned out really cool.
That's cool.
And it turned out into this whole like mural of different flowers, but everything was torn.
Yeah.
And that's how I was like, oh yeah, I can.
And so it's just like collage after collage
After
collage
collage after
that.
collage, and then I
I find
started.
it cool that you stuck with it all this time. Like,
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
Once you do find that like
Yeah.
medium that you enjoy working with, it's very hard to put it down.
Mhm.
I haven't done any real artwork in a while, but like I definitely fiend for it a lot.
And my thing is like, because it's mixed media,
Mhm.
collage work, everything is like textural. So
Mhm.
like anything I find that's like a weird texture,
Mhm.
I like keep it. So I'm just like this hoarder of like weird texture.
Papers,
Mhm.
like-
Weird papers, weird like shit that I find on like the sidewalk,
Sick
or
fabrics
like
and stuff.
the other day I found like little pieces of inside of a watch,
Mm.
like all the
Wow.
gears, and so I kept it. And
You found them separately?
I don't know, they were like it's in this little like pack, and I
Oh,
found it,
nice.
and I was like, oh yeah, sure. And it's just like all these like
It's probably
weird
like a
little
repair kit or something.
gears
That's
or
cool.
whatever. And so I just collect shit like that and add it in. But it also has to do with like if I feel like it will like go with whatever all the other materials that I have going on the canvas.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, a lot of people ask if I put like my emotions and like my like
Mm-hmm.
you know like my whole history of art into like my artwork, and I'm like, no, not really. I just really think like a lot of the shit that I do is just like it's weird. I love always telling people, like I have this line and I always say it's all about the blurred line because I love everything in the gray. I love everything that's weird and everything in between. And that's why
I noticed that on your Instagram account too. You have that phrase on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just I like experimenting with like maybe you could call it a social experiment. I don't know, just because I like to get a reaction on people. But
Do you tend to work on more than one piece at a time sometimes?
No.
You always work on one piece?
I work at one piece at a time.
Just curious.
Yeah, I can't. I'm just fixated.
Mhm.
I know, and it goes by pretty like slow because
How long?
it probably takes me like a month.
Whoa.
To do one collage.
Really?
Mhm.
What's like the general
Wow.
size of them?
I usually do like 2 16x20s, like
Okay.
right next to each other.
Right.
Yeah, and mine are usually like subjects of like sex.
Mhm.
Right.
That's
just
Pretty
like-
in depth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mainly with like women
Mm-hmm.
and sex
Mhm.
and how I mean, again, it's all supposed to be like really funny, but
Sure.
it's all just like women are just as crass and just as crude about sex as like dudes are.
Right.
I mean, like, we are, and
Thank you for admitting
the
that.
way that we talk is pretty fucking disgusting. How we talk about sex, whether you're, into guys, girls, whatever, but like,
Right.
I feel like oftentimes though,
That's
guys don't really hear that except from the one woman who will admit that, like from yourself. Like I'm hearing that other women talk about this, but I'm like, women aren't really that sexually talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Around.
Well, that's
around
why a lot of
us.
guys are like uncomfortable when they hear like stand-ups like Amy Schumer and stuff like that, because like she does stand-ups about stuff like that,
Mhm.
and when you hear a guy tell it, like when we watched like the Marlon Wayne stand-up,
Oh,
and
right.
he's sitting there talking about his gooch, like it's hilarious. But then like the moment that like you hear Amy Schumer talking about like a queef, like it's like weird, right? Like, but that's like again the stigma of like media and pop culture and stuff
yeah,
like that.
absolutely. So,
Is that funny for you to hear Amy Schumer talking about stuff like that, as it is for us, like listening to Marlon Wayne's talking about like
yeah,
a sexual?
I still think it's funny.
Sure, yeah,
No,
it's got to be right.
I don't
Yeah.
take the thing is like I don't take like sex talk that seriously.
Right,
I think
right.
it's I think it's funny. I like the adjectives that we use. I like the way that like I just want to show that in my artwork that I can be as like raunchy as you can be,
Mhm.
and that's just it. Like,
Hmm.
and I focus a lot on women
Mhm.
just because I don't know, we have like a lot of like funny physically. Like, I feel like boobs and asses are just, like, fun to work with.
Well, yeah, and you have, like, it's much more, I feel like women were just, I don't want to say, like, created in a more sexual way, because, like, you know, that whole brings in the whole, like, existentialism thing. But, like, no, I agree with what you're saying, like, the lines on a woman versus, like, the lines on a man. You know what I mean? It's very much more...
I feel like you guys are talking very specifically
alluring
art
and appealing
right now.
Yeah, and you're right. And for me, visually, like, you're right. The lines of a woman's body, I just, like, am very much adore it. And all shapes.
Right.
Like, I just think it's all so cool. But I like to cut out their faces and keep their bodies.
Right.
Because, I don't know, like, why do you need to see their face? Like, you know?
What's the weirdest collage you've ever
That
done?
didn't work out the last time I was with the girl. Why do I need to see your face?
Yeah, you probably had a very different reaction than like I would.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. I was saying, because when you like to cut out their face and then you have their bodies and stuff. So I'm just wondering, do you ever can just construct, like, not even a collage, but, like, you have all these
Like
faces and body parts. Do you ever just make, like, a model or something? Or
No.
person?
No.
Like, you don't Frankenstein people together?
No,
Never Frankenstein
No,
anyone?
I haven't Frankenstein. And now that you say it, I'm like, shit.
Maybe I should
do
Frankenstein
that.
someone.
I'm thinking, like, that you've already made, like, this immaculate, like, goddess. But, you know, there you go.
No.
I won't give you more any ideas.
Yeah, I was like,
you
hold on now.
You gotta pay for the rest of them.
That's
But yeah,
funny.
I don't know. I just have always been fascinated with, like, the female body. And
Right.
just, like, how fluid the curves are.
Right.
Just, like, also just, like, I don't know, like, how weird our bodies can contort. And just, also, I think there's something so amazing about, and if you take the physical out of it, I don't know, man. Women have this awesome fucking pussy power.
Right.
You know, I love it. I love in every like aspect. So
Right.
not just, I don't know, if you're into sex work, of course,
Mhm.
okay, we get that. But I see it at my corporate job. I work at a law firm, and I see that shit all day long, and I can hear it like from very successful, well-educated women, and like they very much carry that on the outside. You can feel it.
Oh yeah, it's like it's definitely a presence.
It's
And
amazing.
it's something that you have to like accept within yourself and then own it and
It's
like control it.
amazing.
It's funny because like, you know, we were talking about Beyonce earlier prior to, you know, starting up the recording, but she has that, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
She has that like sex appeal, but you would never send Beyonce a dick pic,
No.
you know, because
Right.
like she commands your respect,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's got. But I see what you're saying, and it's like a.
There's different levels.
Oh no, most definitely.
But I just
And-
love the way that women carry that, and I
Yeah.
love the way that how some women, if they're even like aware of it,
Mhm.
like that they're doing it or using it. I don't know. I think there's something so cool about that, and so unique because only we could do it. So.
Mhm. True, and that is something where that is very much like specific and exclusive just to y'all, because I feel like when guys come off in that aspect, well, there's only there's a handful of guys that can do that, and it's very unique to men that can do that, and they have to do it in such a way that they are able to own it without seeming to be like, you know, pompous or like overconfident in themselves. Like I think for instance, like Jason Momoa, he's one of those guys. He owns like everything about himself, but he's so comfortable, you know what I mean? He's still laid back and chill. He's like a dude that you could have a beer with, but like women find him insanely attractive because of how he carries himself.
Right.
And he's attractive.
Right.
But like it's
He's a
mainly
pretty attractive dude.
he's a pretty attractive guy,
He's
but it's
got,
also
like,
if
But it's his air.
but you could look like
know?
that and not have that air of like relaxed comfortability bullshit with you,
Right.
you know what I mean? And that is what's really attractive, you know? And so it's like, yeah, I can, but with women, it's definitely something that is more present in the you know, female species than it is in the male.
And we've been using it this entire, like, since
Well,
the
most
beginning
definitely.
of time.
Most definitely.
You know, and that's just like the beauty of it, and that it's been around, and we've been using it, and
Right.
we've been
Mhm.
using it to influence this whole time. So I think it's funny that it's like it's just now becoming like a topic or
Mm-hmm.
you know in pop culture or whatever, because I feel like we've been doing it for so long.
Yeah, and well, I think women now are just now getting put on like the big stage. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, you guys have been like in
Which
the
is so
kitchen and all that
weird.
stuff, and like now it's like, oh, like let's, you know, like we were talking about this the other night, where it was like, there's like, you know, so many like all women movies coming out. Like you get like the all female Oceans coming out.
I mean, Westworld's dominated by women leaders.
Yeah,
right
like
now.
I just watched that first episode today.
Yeah, we watched
How'd you like it?
the episode last night. Oh my
I
god.
love it.
So the women are running everything, all the
Yes.
hosts, like all, you know. Sorry, spoiler alerts, guys.
I mean,
You haven't
they
seen
should have
it.
watched it by now.
Yeah, I
You
don't
should have
care.
watched it by now. By the time you
Should've
see
watched
this,
it.
you should have
That's
watched
my
it.
hashtag.
Right.
Like when I spoil alert GOT.
You should have watched it.
Yeah, you should have watched it by now.
Right.
That's
You
for sure.
should have watched it the first hour it came out.
Right.
It's your fault.
Premiere hour.
But yeah, it is. But that was one of the things that we were talking about, and I think that it's something where I'm glad that it's happening now. But I wish that all of the old white guys that are in charge of corporate
Good old
America
boys.
wouldn't shove it down your throat as much, because now it's kind of like they're almost trying to make up for their like past transgressions, and I would rather them do it in a more organic way. Like I was telling Steve, I've been watching the Netflix show Troy, Fall of the City, and it's more like the more so like the Iliad than like the movie like Troy, you know, with Brad Pitt in it. And but one of the things in the film is like, or in the show, I feel like the casting directors didn't. There was no, we need a white man age 35. This is this. We need a black man age. We need an Asian woman. You know, age blah blah blah. It was just like, show up, speak for the part. If you're good for it, you get it. Because like Achilles is black, Zeus is black. Like, and it's like, but no, like, and it's like no one questions it within like the Greek realm. And I love that aspect. And I love that it's not shoved down your throat. It's more of like a, okay, these
This is
people
what it is.
all
This is what
live
it is.
around
This is
each
what
other.
it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just, it is what it is. You don't question it. And we're not even going to bring it up and
Mhm.
tell you why we did it. We're just going to, it's
Do
just
it.
like this.
Just do it,
Whatever.
right.
Like, don't ask questions.
Yeah.
And I like that. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes you don't need to explain everything, you know?
Right.
Like-
Which is why
I wish we had more cinematic films like that one. We
Sure.
don't get too many of them.
I know.
But
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, got a little bit off topic.
No, it's okay.
So I again, we met through our mutual friend Tabitha at Golden
Mhm.
Pineapple.
Mhm.
I know us personally, we have used her services. You have as well. Is there anything, in particular that her products helped you with as far as like creativity and stuff like that, or is it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like, do you need that edge, or is it
Mhm.
something that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very much. I'll let you explain a little bit about that.
As far as the Golden Pineapple products,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, I think what really sold it to me was actually when I had a conversation with Tabitha, and it was about like, the conversation was like, girl, or like when you're wanting to go buy a bag of weed, and
Mhm.
some, usually you have to go by yourself, and usually it's a male that
Sure,
you're
yeah.
getting. You know, as a girl, you don't feel that safe.
Right.
Having to go. Also, if this guy's not a friend,
Mhm.
and it's just super like sketchy.
Now he has your number,
and
right.
now he has your number.
Sends you a dick pic.
And then it goes on stretch canvas at Costco. But yeah, I loved that, like, she really honed in on like that female perspective,
Mhm.
because that's not what I was thinking at all, or
Right.
where she was gonna go with that.
Right.
So that really stuck in my head. I'm like, that's true. Like, women or girls who are cannabis users and are not part of the program, like the DC, the
Yeah.
programs that
Right,
DC
exactly.
has or Maryland has or
Mhm.
whatever. So they do still have to go and get weed from a dealer,
From your local guy.
from your local guy. And usually you're going by yourself, and
Right.
usually it is a man that you're
Mhm.
getting it from, and that's not necessarily the most safe.
Mhm.
It's not comfortable either.
and
I'm
it's
sure.
not
Yeah.
comfortable. So that's what stuck in my head, and I was like, wow, I really love that. Like, I love that she said that. And then I was like, well, let's try it. Let's try her products. And,
Sure. And you loved it.
and I love it.
Hey.
I love it. I think it's really helped kind of just like calm me down.
Mhm.
It's calmed me down. It helps just bring me down a little bit from like all the craziness that happens in your day to day.
Right.
But it just also helps me focus. And so I need that to focus.
I'm trying to make a way, hit the bank so ends can meet. Feed my family. If you don't grind, you weak. That was me about a year ago. Scared to be a